gonna make a skeleton out of this material. Yeah, oh yeah, it's sturdy. This can handle the kids. I sure do like this miter saw, but even with this stand, it's still a 12-inch sliding miter saw. Good deal. Oh, the fun. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get on back, and I'm gonna get started on this project. Boy, it is a beautiful day here in Oklahoma. Last night we were sitting around 30 degrees or so. Right now, 50 outside. Now I kind of have to set them up nearby one another, so that way my extension cord, that way I can get to both of them. One of those battery deals would be awesome, to be bluntly honest with you. Holy cow, how cool would that be? To not stretch these big extension cords. I actually melted the end. I'll show you here in a second. See that right there? I was running my planer. That's partially why some of my projects have ceased, is because I toasted this plug, the middle. I'm not going to use this outlet here. I'm going to use these two. All right, we're going to have some fun. See that table there? That's a little bit messy. So to do something like this, use whatever solvent you'd like. I've even used WD-40 to get the pitch off of the table. But if you're creative, you do not need to buy anything, probably. The reason why I'm doing this is if I don't do this, I guaranteed to fight myself. This is what I use. It helps out quite a bit. Trewax Carnauba, I think that's how you say it, Trewax. I bought this specifically for my tables. If you let this stuff dry on real hard, you're gonna hate yourself. it dries and it turns to like a shell that you don't want to have to. You may as well just use some solvent to get it back off, honestly. This is not necessarily exactly the way that they recommend doing it. It's the way that I'm doing it, so at least I do something rather than nothing. I'm basically making a frame, ultimately a box. I want overall to be about 17 from the wall, 83 inches long, and the total height is going to be 18 inches. This is going to be the framing for the box. I'm basically just going to make a skeleton out of this material right here, and then from there I'm going to go ahead and put pine horizontally on it, and then we have some hinges coming on Wednesday that will flip up, and it will be really nice. 3'6" or 42 inches. This is rough dimensions. using my deck as a workbench here. Kind of figuring out exactly how I want to construct this here. I'm actually pocket hole screwing all of the beautiful. These no-cry knee pads are very, very helpful. I need to make sure I always utilize them. If I don't, I'm gonna have bad knees. These help a lot. I'll put a link to these in the description as well. They're pretty affordable. I've got 2 pairs, one for myself, one for my wife. We're gonna go top at the top. All the pocket holes are on the bottom side, so you won't see them from the top. Look at that. I'm excited. All right, here.
So is this the bottom?
This is the bottom. Bottom, top's down. I put all the pocket hole screws on the bottom side so we can't see them. When you're doing construction projects, one of the coolest thing is if you burn wood, bringing my kindling bucket out here, we're gonna go ahead and utilize this stuff right here for kindling, right? There's no reason to just burn it up outside. We can make use of it here. Just thrifty living, I think, is good for everything. It's not just good for being smart with your resources. It's good for everything. More kindling. Otherwise, it would have been absolutely wasted. As a woodworker, one thing you'll recognize is you'll end up with tons and tons of scraps. If you are starting out woodworking, you better get used to scrap. And when you, it's very hard when you're not used to it. You know, you're taught conservation and all this, and there's just no way to keep everything. It's a tripping hazard, a fire hazard, cleanliness hazard. It's everything hazard. Check out these. Cut these with the miter saw. My boys had me do that. This is going to be it for the day. I'm going to be back working on this again tomorrow probably. All pretty wood. That'll be pretty wood. Pretty clear overall. Some knots here and there. I think I just saw a mosquito. You kidding me? Oh, it's December. All right. I think I'm done with this. Now I'm going to go ahead and process these down. This is for my wife's Christmas present that she requested. She wanted a place to be able to hide the shoes. And so I think I've got enough boards here to get the sides done. I'm not working on the top yet, but boy, that is pretty wood. This is pine. This is that type of pine right there, milled off of this property with my Frontier sawmill. and it's been air drying for a few years now, and it's wonderful to use. It's beautiful, beautiful wood. Generally pretty clear. This does have a little bit of knots in it, but man, it's so pretty. Nice tight grain, nice stuff. I've milled lots of these logs, lots of them. Some of them up to 24 inches in diameter. Many of them between 12 and 18. I am very particular about selecting what I want to be visible. I love this up here. I don't love this particular one here. Let me take some measurements on the board. My wife would probably like that though, to be honest with you. I'll probably utilize from this end this way. See if 7 foot works out well. It does. I like that grain selection. I am actually gonna put this on the face because I'm pretty sure my wife would like it. So we're gonna go ahead and square up this end, cut off the splits. Yep, see that? No problem. That'll be nice. So this is gonna end up going like this. This is the face. I have the face up. And she wanted the sideboards to butt into the ends down here. Yeah, I like it. This is not the top, this is the front. The top is gonna be the last piece we build. This is what I've come up with. I've got this straight edge, and I'm gonna try to rip that off, clamping the guide down. That's my solution to get a good straight line down this board instead of using a jointer. This is not the optimal way of doing this, but it's the way that I can do it at the moment. So this is what we're gonna try. It's 1.5 inches, exactly 1.5 inches. So if I set back 1.5 inches from this mark, if I move this back exactly 1.5 inches, I should be able to rip down this. Set that right on 3, and we're gonna go to 1/2 inch right there. I just want to get it closer, right? So when I butt these up, they're not gonna be glue joints. So keep that in mind. They're not glue joints. I'm just simply, I just want them to rest together more nicely. It moved. My guide slid over on that side. This will work. Yeah. Mark this spot right here. Put it right here. I'm not a glue spreader outer. I do to an extent. Just depends on the project. But this will work right here for what we're doing. The glue will be the primary fastener. The nails will hold it. The nails will hold it there until it doesn't need it anymore. Okay, thank you. Now, son, I want that top edge to be flush with the top. Boom, there we go. I want all my nails to be in a line at least because they're going to be exposed. What do you think, son? Is it looking good?
Yeah, it's looking really good.
I think it's looking good, huh? I will clean that up here in a moment. Just the right one, right?
Now we glue it down.
Better slap these in before they...
Yep.
That'll work. Okay, everybody, this is how I like to build. I just like to start and see how it's gonna go. Okay, 3/4. I'm gonna take this and I'll just go ahead and scribe a line right back here. That's all right. Okay, let's set it down right there. Right there. And I'm gonna freehand this because I'm gonna take the router and we're gonna flush it up here in a second. Okay, I'm gonna actually... The reason why I trimmed that off is I don't want the flush cut router bit to have to take that much material off. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna make my bench top out of these two pieces. I'm gonna need somewhere around 17 inches or so overall width. What I wanna do is I wanna figure out, to me, where the most pleasing grain is, or the most interesting grain is, and I'm gonna go ahead and mark these for orientation. I will roughly cut the length. I'm gonna give a little bit because when I cut them, they're not gonna be square and I still need to fit them into the final location. But I also wanna reduce their length for further processing, meaning getting the sides parallel to one another, because I am gonna try to glue these up without a joiner. The design is gonna be, we're gonna have two doors that flip up, one here and one here. We have surface mount hinges. Slow cut. Let me show you how good the quality is on that blade there. Look how nice and clean that is. I've cut so many dimensional lumber, yeah, like 2x4s, 2x6s, all kinds of pine, all sorts of stuff with that. Look at that finish, everybody. Isn't that beautiful wood? Straight off of my property. What an absolute blessing to have that as a resource. All of it right here. There's some more trees I gotta take out. That one right there is gonna come out because that root right there is very easy for like an automobile to sideswipe it. So I'm gonna cut that tree down, dig that stump out, and kind of slope that in a little bit better. So it'll be nice. But again, there's more material, and then the one directly behind it. So there's that one, and then the one behind it's also coming out. That one's That one's actually looking healthier. The leaves got kind of small and the needles got a little small, but it's actually filling out kind of nicely, surprisingly. And then I'm also planning on doing that one. My goal is to make my driveway, make this like less cut out and a little bit more smooth in the transitions, okay? Because I want to be able to use that as like a driveway up to that top area there. So anyway, what a resource to have, and I will be sawmilling those after I fall them. But I'm leaving them in the ground for as long as I can because they keep growing, right? And it also keeps them healthy. As soon as you cut a pine, the race is on to get that material milled, because otherwise what happens is the bugs start eating it. You also get more and more of this bluing here, which is not a problem per se, but I wouldn't mind not having it, okay? It adds some interest to the wood. It does. It does add some interest to the wood. Stay away from that edge a little bit more. Guys, remember, this is no plan. I'm just, my wife expressed a desire and I'm building it to meet her desire, right? So it's not like I don't have any plans for this. I honestly couldn't tell you the dimensions yet. I couldn't give you a cut list because I just build. I just like to build, right? That means it's not necessarily as good as it could be, but I don't just sit there at a desk and draw out what I'm gonna do. I just get the final dimensions, kind of picture it in my head and roll with it. That one. I'm gonna glue this down and screw it from the bottom. I'm pretty sure I got these countersinks off of Amazon. Guys, I always do this. I always break the tip off. But you know what, honestly, in this circumstance right here, it might actually be a blessing. But anyway, I'll put a link to these if they're still available. I bought them because they were a good price and they're also made in the USA. And another thing I liked is, see that Allen key there? I mean, that is a big Allen. None of this little tiny stuff that strips out when you look at it. What we've got here is, like I said, I just have 1.25" screws, right? Let me see how far I need to go. No glue spreading here. It squishes around, I promise you. All right. Okay, we're screwed down. So let's go down to this other end. I don't need to have this clamped anymore. Good countersinks are awesome to have, I'll tell you that right now. Get yourself some good countersinks, everybody. If you don't have them, your shoulders will thank you. I'm going in all the way up to there, and it's just easily burying. If you've ever used some worn out or some cruddy countersinks, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You can just brute strength it, but it ain't worth it. Man, these small tools are great. Subcompacts. If you've got the biggest, baddest drills out there, something like this is a nuisance, let me tell you. Thin layer if I can manage. Thin, don't too much glue or else it'll squish out everywhere. Guys, I have a cabinetry background if you don't know who I am. I don't do a lot of woodworking, primarily because of my current setup. You can see I'm doing it on the deck, but it's coming, hopefully. I enjoy. I didn't get my sawmill just to build big projects with. Got it for stuff like this too. Waiting on my hinges to come via Amazon right now. Fine woodworking with Oaky Woodsman, sawmilled, 3/4 of the way finished deck. You guys, woodworking is not real hard. It's not like metalworking. I watch some of these guys that do machine work on saws. Woodworking is not like that. You cannot, with raw lumber, you cannot get things down to the 1,000th. it doesn't work. You're talking about maybe 64ths. All right, so there we are. I'm gonna go ahead and unclamp this. I've been waiting for these. We got our hinges off of Amazon here. My plan to do those as glue ups did not work, so I am having to build this top a little different. I have all my pieces cut. Now I need to cut these little slats that I need to put inside of them. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I'll probably build this on the table saw because that's a flat surface. Alrighty, I've got the top fitted. I didn't want to bore you with all that. I had to do a little bit of fitment stuff. It's not a big deal. Overshot a little bit on those straps on one side. I had to trim them. That one lines up. So I've had these deals right here for drilling hinge holes for a long time. I've just never had a purpose for them. I've never needed them. So, hey Mom, I'm using the gift you got me. Cool. That works pretty cool. Nice. 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 The same exact pine that we're standing on, and actually the same exact pine that we are, the frame, right? That black stuff right there, that's all the same pine too.
Yes.
You like it?
Yes, I love this. Is it sturdy?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's sturdy. Yeah, you could, this can handle the kids. I think she liked it. She's been seeing it along the way, but it's different when you get to see the whole thing together.